Many of you have asked me for a list of my halal stocks. Well, today I'm going to share with you a stock that I've been very upbeat on for a while, as I'm sure my friends can attest to, and that stock is Tesla. Tesla is an electric car manufacturer, and amongst the halal stocks that I am familiar with, it is perhaps the most attractive halal stock on the market today. Assalamu alaikum, my name is Arkan Kayali and welcome to Practical Islamic Finance. I'm going to start my analysis of Tesla stock with why I think it's a halal stock to buy. For those who are familiar with my channel, they know the criteria I use. For those who aren't familiar with the criteria I use for assigning a halal rating to a particular stock, then check out the video I made on how to choose halal stocks. Link in the description below. Basically, the primary criteria I use for assigning a halal rating to a particular stock are the following. Number one, I ask myself the question, can I describe the amount of revenue the company earns from non-halal sources when compared to the revenue it earns from halal sources as being trivial? Number two, do I think this company produces more benefit than harm? And then thirdly, I do a gut check. I ask myself, am I comfortable with this investment? Am I okay with publicizing my investment in this particular stock? So let's try and see if we can answer these three questions. First, can I describe the revenue that Tesla earns from non-halal sources when compared to the revenue it earns from halal sources as being trivial? To answer this question, let's look at Tesla's most recent quarterly report, which was Q3 of 2019. And we can see from this report that Tesla's revenue breakdown is as follows. 81% comes from automotive sales, 4% from automotive leasing, 6% from energy generation and storage, and 9% from services and other. I looked up what services and other refers to. The services and other revenue consist of repair and maintenance services, service plans, merchandise, sales of used Tesla vehicles, sales of electric vehicle components to other manufacturers, and sales of non-Tesla vehicle trade-ins. For those who are unfamiliar, leasing simply refers to long-term rental contracts. There's nothing wrong with renting in Islam. And if you'd like more detail about my view on leasing, you can check out the video I made on this topic, link in the description below. So from the revenue breakdown, nothing stands out to me as being particularly haram. And therefore, I am confident in saying that I can describe the revenue or income that Tesla earns from non-halal activities when compared to what it earns from halal activities as being trivial. The second question for ascertaining whether a Tesla investment is halal or haram is whether or not I think that Tesla is producing more good than harm. Since its inception, Tesla has pioneered the mass production of electric vehicles. I'm sure you don't need me to tell you how much pollution the burning of fossil fuels that happens with traditional cars is causing and how unsustainable it is. Not only unsustainable from the perspective of damage that is done to the climate, but also unsustainable with respect to the limited amount of fossil fuels that exist and therefore we are bound to run out of. Tesla's electric vehicles have been instrumental in proving to humanity that there is a real viable alternative to our reliance on fossil fuels, and if that isn't producing a lot of value, I don't know what is. As if that wasn't enough, Tesla is contributing to saving many lives through the safety of their vehicles, which can be attributed to a number of things, most notably their self-driving capabilities. According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, yes, I got it right, there is around one accident for every 436,000 miles driven in the United States. The first Tesla safety report of 2019 indicated that there was one accident for every 2.87 million miles driven with a Tesla while Autopilot was engaged. So basically, when Autopilot is engaged, the Teslas are 7 times as safe as a human driver. Now, in their most recent quarterly report, Tesla reported that only one accident was reported for every 4.34 million miles driven while Tesla's Autopilot was engaged. So now, in just these 2 or 3 quarters since they first report of 2019, now the safety level of Tesla when Autopilot is engaged is 9 times better than the safety of a human driver. And you can expect this number to continue to improve as Tesla gains more data from its fleet of cars, which it uses to improve its driving algorithms. All this, and I haven't said anything about the positive impact that Tesla's solar panels and batteries are having and are poised to have globally. So yes, I am very confident that the world is better off with Tesla than it would have been without Tesla. I am confident that this company is producing more good than harm. There is perhaps no other company on earth that I would feel more confident in answering this question for. Aside, of course, from maybe BFF income share funding. My assessment of the good that Tesla is doing heavily influences my forecast for their future financial performance, because generally I think that the recipe for prosperity and longevity for any company is to produce good for others. And I believe Tesla is doing this in a big way. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in His generous Quran, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, وَأَمَّا مَا يَنْفَعُ النَّاسَ فَيَمْكُثُ فِي الْأَرْضِ, which means that and that which helps others, which benefits others, is what stays in the earth. And I believe that Tesla is producing a lot of benefit for others and for humanity in general. And so long as it continues to do this, I forecast that it will continue to perform well. The third question about the halalness of a particular stock relates to whether I feel comfortable with making this investment, whether I'm okay with publicizing this particular investment. And in the case of Tesla, I have no hesitation in saying that I do in fact own some shares in Tesla. Now for my forecast of Tesla's financial performance over the next 5 years. I should start everything with my disclaimer, which is that this is not investment advice. This is just food for thought, and you should do your own due diligence before you make any investment decisions. Make sure you only invest money that you can afford to lose, and make sure that you're not investing all your money in the same place. Make sure you diversify your investments, and remember to have the humility of a believer that knows that only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows the future. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the generous Quran, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, قل لا يعلم من في السماوات والأرض الغيب إلا الله وما يشعرون أيان يبعثون. Say, no one in the heavens or earth knows the ghaib or the unseen except Allah, nor do they know or can they perceive when they will be resurrected. So knowing the future is a monopoly of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and no matter how confident you feel in a particular investment decision, you should always plan for the down case, for the event that maybe your prediction is wrong, and you should accordingly not invest anything that you think you cannot afford to lose. So after this disclaimer, let's talk about my forecast for Tesla stock over the next 5 years. As I mentioned in a previous video, when you're buying a stock, you should have the mentality of someone who is buying part of a business, because that's exactly what you're doing. And when you buy a business, a good question to ask is, what do I think of their product? We saw in Tesla's revenue breakdown that automotive sales constituted the bulk of Tesla's revenue. So what do I think of their cars? Well, let me put it this way. In 2012, Tesla introduced the market to the Model S. And at the time, it had a range of 265 miles. To this day, which is 7 years later, I have yet to see or encounter an electric vehicle that can compete with the Tesla Model S that was put out in 2012. And if you disagree with me, then leave a comment below and let me know which car I am overlooking. Although I'm pretty confident with the statement I just made. Since 2012, Tesla has dramatically improved its cars. If we're just talking about range, now if you look at the range of a Tesla Model 3 with the long range option, you're looking at a range of around 370 miles. This is not mentioning all the other significant enhancements it has made to its cars since 2012, including its autonomous driving capabilities, which are unrivaled. So Tesla has a mammoth head start in an industry which is projected to grow at a compound annual growth rate of around 20% every year for the next 4 or 5 years. People like to refer to other car manufacturers as potential competitors to Tesla because of the massive resources that they have at their disposal. But I would say that a lot of these resources may prove to be liabilities rather than assets because they are not designed to produce electric vehicles. To compete with Tesla's electric vehicles, you don't just have to swap out the internal combustion engine with an electric one. Tesla's vehicles are unique in the software that they have, and the quality of that software is something that traditional car manufacturers have never produced and are not accustomed to dealing with. Thinking that the traditional car manufacturers will have an easy time competing with Tesla is, in my opinion, akin to thinking that traditional horse carriage manufacturers will compete easily with Ford when they first released their Model T in 1908. So in summary, you have a company with a massive head start compared to everyone else, perhaps on the order of a decade at this point of a head start compared to everyone else, in an industry which is projected to grow at a 20% compound annual growth rate every year for the next 4 or 5 years at least. Not to mention what Tesla is doing in the fields of solar panels and batteries and autonomous driving, which themselves on their own are trillion-dollar opportunities. There is much more detail that I could get into regarding Tesla, but this should give you a bird's eye view of why I think that Tesla is such a attractive halal investment today. Don't get me wrong, I don't know what Tesla is going to do in the next 6 months. The price of its stock may be up, maybe down, maybe sideways, I don't know. But if you ask me what I think Tesla is going to do 5 years from now, in other words, where its price will be 5 years from now, I have a strong inclination that it will be substantially higher from where it is right now. If we just applied the 20% growth rate that the electric vehicle industry is projected to experience over the next 4 or 5 years to Tesla's share price today, we come out with a price of around $750 or $760. If its other investments in solar panels and batteries and autonomous driving pay off, the price may be much more than this. Again, this is my prediction. I could be wrong. Of course, Allah knows best. I should also mention here that while I do own some Tesla shares, I am not affiliated with the company in any other way. A company that I am affiliated with is BFF Income Share Funding. We offer halal funding for people who live in the United States, which can be used for basically anything. Check us out at fundmebff.com. We also offer halal investments if you earn more than $200,000 annually. Links in the description below. And I'm out. Assalamu alaikum and peace be upon you all.